pressed record yet. Yes, we did.
We did.
One eternity later.
I got some notes here, bud.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to Heavy Metal Horror Show. We're really glad to be back. It's been a little while. We took a small break, but we're back to stay.
Oh, yeah.
On
We're
today's
very happy to be here.
very happy to be here.
I am very happy to be here.
On today's episode, we're going to talk about a movie called Heretic. It's a relatively new horror movie that came out on HBO Max. Was it?
Yeah, that's why I've watched
Yeah.
it.
And
2024 movie.
yeah, it's a 2024 movie. And this movie it's a horror movie, but it's sort of a thriller as well.
Mm.
And
Yeah, definitely works on your mind a little bit.
yeah,
It's a bit of a thinker.
yeah. And Hugh Grant, who no one would have suspected would have been in a thriller or horror movie, is in this, and he did a fantastic job.
Yeah.
I
I mean, he nailed it. I loved his character.
Yeah,
As quirky and as I use that a lot when I describe characters on the show.
but he really is
yeah,
though.
Yeah, he's just kind of odd and
very odd.
and man, he just nailed the part.
Yeah, he nailed it. But so if you're a fan of Hugh Grant and you've seen a lot of his work, this isn't anything like he's ever done before. But he did great. It was a fantastic role for him.
Yeah, in fact, this was his second horror movie that he's ever done.
Really?
Yeah, he did one in '88 called "The Lair of the White Worm," which I haven't seen.
We're gonna have to
so
watch that one too. I
Yeah.
guess. Yeah.
Sounds. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah. And the other two main actresses in the movie, who are Mormon missionaries, are Sister Paxton and Sister Barnes.
Mhm.
Sister Paxton was played by Chloe East, who was in around 5 movies and 1 series so far. She's not really that well known. She did a fantastic job as well. And Sophie Thatcher was Sister Barnes, and I'm sure a lot of you have seen Yellow Jackets, the series Yellow Jackets. She's in that, so she's an upcoming actress as well.
Yeah, well, I had no idea going into this who was going to be in it other than Hugh Grant, and so as I'm watching it, I'm trying to figure out who this person is because she looks so familiar,
Right?
and
Yeah.
And finally it hit me that she was from Yellow Jackets, which I had recently started watching based on your recommendation.
Yep.
And it's cool seeing when you think about it. These are 2 relatively new actresses breaking into the scene.
Yeah.
And picking up some more steam, working with like a seasoned actor. And
Right.
it's like those 3. Mainly throughout the whole damn movie. And it's just kind of cool.
And they probably learned a lot from him in the process. So, yeah, that's really awesome. It's a cool way to think about it. Their characters are really awesome as well because you have Sister Barnes, who's sort of suspicious, sort of a skeptic, but she wants to believe. She wants to, but she's also a little more worldly. And then you have Sister Paxton, who is a lot more innocent and trusting, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and to see those 2 dynamics in play at the same time, I thought was pretty cool. They sort of played off of each other a little bit, in the movie. But it pretty much, is centered around, those 2 who are Mormon missionaries, and they go to Hugh Grant's house.
Are you interested in learning more about the Church of Jesus Christ?
Come on in.
Yeah, he actually, I guess, inquired about it at some point, requested somebody to come visit him.
Yeah. And they show up, and it's raining, and he invites him inside, and then they start to have a conversation about religion, and well, first of all, about their religion. And then they suddenly discover that Mr. Reed, played by Hugh Grant, knows a lot more than he let on in the beginning about not only Mormonism but every world religion, which was a shock in a way, because when you first meet him, he looks really unassuming, right? Like really innocent, and then suddenly you see a different side of him.
Yeah, and all of a sudden the well-studied version comes out.
Yeah,
and he knows all the facts, and
yeah,
basically lays out that he's went to school for it and studied theology, and was like well versed in blowing their minds with some of the things that he knows.
Yeah, and he had his own ideas about religion. We don't want to spoil it, but they go down this rabbit hole of this exploratory rabbit hole, which I thought was really cool, because he certainly didn't take anything at face value, because he was well studied, and he found correlations between everything that he studied, and then that's when the conversation begins with the two Mormon missionaries, and then it got darker and darker from there.
Yeah,
it's definitely worth checking out, and it was surprisingly good. I didn't know what to expect at first. When I saw Hugh Grant in a thriller type movie, I thought, well, how good could it be? But it was really good.
Yeah. He definitely, like we said earlier, just nailed it.
Yeah,
I love the character and the way he portrayed it.
Yeah,
and like I said, the quirkiness and the way he pronounces words, or mispronounces words and names on purpose.
Right,
like
right.
Some of that stuff wasn't scripted. Gone into a tad bit of did you know, but some of the names he would purposely mispronounce during the shooting of the scene, and that wasn't scripted, and that would force the other actresses to go off script too and improvise, and correct them, and
wow,
like none of that was in the actual writing.
So a lot of it was pretty. That's why I felt so natural, looking at the interactions between them.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
Yeah, which could also go back to a seasoned actor, saying it's okay to go off script.
Yeah,
follow through.
It's almost as if he was coaching them live, right?
Yeah,
like while they were filming. It's so awesome. But if you like suspense, if you like thrillers, if you like horror, if you like a really, I don't know. I mean, I felt as if it was a really deep movie to a certain degree because of the conclusions that Mr. Reed came to in his studies and what he was able to discuss in the movie. It was, I don't know, it wasn't just a thriller.
It was definitely took some thinking. Like you can watch it and not be a deep thinker and still enjoy it, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it wasn't like a slasher or anything like that, but it was like, it heavily laid on like how decisions that you make, determine the outcome of everything, from that point on.
Yeah.
And which direction do you choose,
Right. And ultimately he gives them a choice.
I've personally I watched it twice in a month.
Yeah, me too.
So I watched it randomly a month ago just to see what it was about. I had no trailers, no word or anything about it. It just popped up as a suggestion and sounded kind of cool, so I checked it out. And then we were talking about getting together to do this today.
Yeah.
So last night I was like, I'm gonna rewatch it to to catch all the smaller details and appreciate it on that level. And I wasn't upset about it one time. It's I don't remember the actual run time, but it's so just under like 2 hours.
I think you're right.
Hour 45 to something like that. But it doesn't feel like it.
I was going to say the same thing. Yeah, because I almost rewatched the whole thing last night, and I got through an hour of it, and I thought I mean, it felt like 20 minutes. It's strange. It just
Right.
kind of flows, this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it keeps you wanting more. You know, if you start to watch it, you're going to want to know what happens next, and you're going to just be glued to the TV. It's one of those movies, you know?
Yep.
So, and another thing that's cool about it, I thought, was although there are only 3 main characters in it, right? Like for the most part,
Right.
the character development was so fast. Like you knew right away, you know, who was a skeptic, who was an innocent, who which girl was innocent and more trusting, and you also knew within about 10 minutes who Hugh Grant was, like beyond like his facade, right? So it was just it was really deep, really fast to me.
Yeah.
When I watched it, which is not common for movies like that, you know.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I can't say enough about how well he just pulled you into his character.
Yeah. A few cool things about it. Sophie Thatcher and Chloe East, who play the sister missionaries, they were actually raised Mormon in real life.
Damn.
So they were able to add a lot, more complexity to their acting, in the movie.
Yeah.
They knew a lot about it
was
going in already.
less about acting because they grew up in it.
They grew up in it. Yeah.
It was a little more natural. And,
Yeah.
yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. No.
Interesting.
Yeah. They definitely casted well, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of casting, the director Scott Beck and Brian Woods saw an interview with Hugh Grant one time, saying that he's tired of doing the same roles and he wanted to do something different. So they actually wrote this part with Hugh Grant in mind before they even knew if he would take it. They wrote this part for him.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, they did a damn good job.
Yeah, they did. They really did.
The casting was awesome, and he I probably said it 5 times already in this one video. He nailed it.
Yeah.
Hugh Grant. Hugh Grant.
And I've seen other movies that he was in. And I remember liking those movies, and I know he's a big name, but unfortunately I can't remember any of the other.
He plays a
movies,
damn good Oompa Loompa.
Oh yeah. That's the best Oompa Loompa ever.
So hard.
That is something else.
Yeah. And he was in a lot of rom-coms too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've seen one of them. I can't remember the name of it, but he's a good all-around actor. I mean, he could, this proves that he could do anything.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome.
It's kind of scary how natural it just came to him. I don't know.
I know.
Maybe he's got some. I almost gave away a little spoiler, but maybe he's got some skeletons in his closet.
Yeah, maybe so. You never know.
So maybe they got Mormons to play the Mormons parts and a creep to play the creep part. And then they were like, well, we already got the creep. Let's throw in Radiohead.
Oh yeah.
Radiohead music.
Yeah. Do you remember?
It's in the movie.
Do you remember what he said was a copy of Radiohead? It was a song. But no, it was one before and one after, I think.
Yeah. So was it The Air I Breathe? I think it was something like that.
I think so.
Like an older song. So, Radiohead got sued. There was a lawsuit against Radiohead because of the melodies being so close.
Yeah.
And then there was another lawsuit, I think in 2017, I think he said, where Lana Del Rey was Radiohead was suing Lana Del Rey for the same thing that they got sued for.
Yeah. And he referred to this as almost like reiterations of the same thing, because some of the chord structure was the same, and that's where we got the ideas from, inadvertently or not. It happens a lot in music, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, we look at, well, some things are more obvious than others. I was going to say Under Pressure and Ice Ice Baby, but that was sort of deliberate, I think.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of songs that sort of mimic a chord structure, or even a chorus, or it just happens eventually, because music, I think, to a certain degree is finite.
Yeah,
and
you only got 12 notes.
Exactly.
To play with,
Exactly. Yeah.
And millions of musicians. So
Right,
it's gonna
right.
happen.
Yeah, yeah. I'm surprised it doesn't happen more.
Yeah.
Because to show you how much creativity is out in the world, you know.
Right.
Um,
Yeah. I mean, unless you're, somebody like Primus or
Right.
any of the people who jam with Maynard, any of
Oh,
those
God, yeah.
those bands.
Yeah.
I mean, we could go on and on like with those kind of bands and stuff like those. They stand out because they write good songs,
Yeah.
good formulas, but they sound like them. Sound like
Right.
they're not going to get sued for sounding like somebody else.
No. Same thing with my favorite band, Typo Negative. I mean, no one.
Yeah.
I mean, people try to mimic them, but no one. I mean, that's their original sound, and no one could say that it was theirs.
Yeah.
Not that I know of, anyway.
Right.
So, it's pretty cool, but yeah, but this movie did have a lot of really good music in it too. It was really diverse.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I love Radiohead personally. I love the echoey, dark vibe of their music. I don't like the popular stuff, but I like the real like background music type stuff that you could chill to from Radiohead.
Yeah.
But
the cool thing was like I guess it was a live acoustic version of the song because I didn't even recognize it when it first started playing until the vocals came in.
Yeah.
So that was cool hearing it.
Yeah.
Like they didn't just put in the song that everybody knows.
Yeah.
And the version that everybody knows.
Yeah.
They even went obscure with like,
Yeah.
which is what his character is. He's,
Very. Yeah. Very.
He likes
unique.
the original things and
Yeah.
apparently things that not everybody's into, so
Yeah. He even compared
he's like a
religion to board games at one point.
he's like a theological hipster.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it. Theological, creepy hipster intellect. Something like that. Anyway.
And a pawpaw sweatshirt.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Again, highly recommend checking that out.
Yeah. Didn't you say that one of the cast members sung a song in it?
No.
You didn't say that?
Yes, I did.
You did?
So Sophie Thatcher, she's an amazing actress. Brand new, just coming out on the scene again.
Who played in Yellow
but,
Jackets? That
yeah.
one. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she, it's kind of funny because there's a scene in the movie where she's the other sister. What's her name? Sister.
Barnes?
No, the other one, Paxton.
Paxton, yeah.
Is talking about how Sister Barnes has like a beautiful voice, and Sister Barnes is like, I can't stand my voice, because they're talking about vocals and singing, and she's like, I can't stand my own voice or whatever. I hate it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's funny because the outro song during the credits is a different version of Heaven Knocking on Heaven's Door, and she's singing it.
Oh yeah.
So if you're watching it and you see the credits, that's her, and it's she's got a great voice.
Really great voice. Yeah.
So it was just funny that
Yeah.
she's saying I hate my voice, but she's also a singer.
She's also a singer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All around great movie. Great music. Great theme. Really enthralling, and go check it out.
Yeah. Did you know?
You got another one?
I got a whole list of them.
Oh, well,
here.
let's get to it, man.
Let's see. So this film landed Hugh Grant his 7th Golden Globe nomination.
No way.
Yep.
Jeez.
Yeah. So again,
Okay.
he's pretty good at what he does.
Yeah, one would say.
Yeah. So Mr. Reed in the movie at one point says, "With great power comes great responsibility." And Sister Paxton says, "Spider-Man," and then he says, "No, Voltaire."
Yeah.
But the funny part about that is the elder Mormon that's trying to get in touch with him.
Uh-huh.
He was actually in a Spider-Man, one of the Spider-Man movies.
What?
So it's kind of like a little inside joke.
Oh, that's
Type
cool.
deal. Yeah. So
And like you said earlier, Hugh Grant, Mr. Reed in the movie was really big on the original So when she said that, it had to have gotten him kind of irritated,
Yeah.
No, it's Voltaire,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's funny.
It took them 10 years to write the movie due to the meticulous theological research that they wanted to do to make sure that they got it right, which is crazy.
Wow.
Because I could have did that in like 10 minutes and
Yeah,
watched a couple YouTube videos.
Yeah.
No, it's pretty awesome that they put 10 years of work into making
Yeah.
sure that they got it right.
It was well done. It was
and
well done.
recorded it in a chronological order that made sense. And
Yeah.
kept you.
Yeah, you could actually learn something from this movie too. Like there's a lot of reality in it.
Yeah.
From a historical standpoint. So
Yeah, definitely. Let's see what else we got here. Writer Brian Wood's chief inspiration in pursuing a work about religion was the recent death of his own father. So that's kind of like what got him into the religious thing. And,
okay.
And decided to do something based around that.
Huh.
Another cool thing was there's a scene in there where they're talking about a specific disease, and and Mr. Reed asks Sister Barnes about a particular person and how they had passed, and she says, what the answer is, and he hears blueberry pie disease, and he's like, and it's funny because there's a thing of blueberry pie and they're talking about it,
Yeah,
and
he
smelling
mentions
it
it,
and stuff,
yeah.
and he's like kind of laughs like blueberry pie disease, like thinking that she's making a joke, and she's like, no, Lou Gehrig's disease.
Yeah.
Well, that's what happens in the movie. Well, that came from a real life event from the writer. Like apparently that happened to him at a dinner somewhere where somebody said Lou Gehrig's disease and he heard blueberry pie disease.
Jeez.
So he threw that in there.
Wow.
Yeah, thought that was
Wow.
kind of awesome. Yeah,
That's funny.
yeah, definitely.
Huh.
And I guess the only other thing I had is if you are Hugh Grant and two hustlers peddled up the Pedal Mormon books, what would you do?
What would I do if I was you, Grant?
That's all I got. I don't know where I'm going with that. I just want to say a bunch of funny, stupid words that made no sense.
I wouldn't have answered the door.
Yeah.
But that's just me,
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah.
Well,
Well, I guess that's it for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys check out the movie. It was really awesome, and we'll be back for more. Stay tuned.
yeah, it's good to be back.
It's awesome to be back.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
We'll be having some more coming your way. So
Yep.
let's do it.
Let's do it.